this one is all about Google Ads. And like we talked about last week, there's an important the conversion funnel is highly important, and a lot of folks just aren't really aware of why that's important and how to touch it. Last week, that was really what we focused on, was the conversion funnel. So we want to look at data-driven audiences, intent, and retargeting, and then all the way down to the conversion. So data-driven audiences, again, those fall under email, or email lists fall under that, lookalike audiences, page engagement, Instagram, and then it's Instagram engagement. There we go. Those all fall under data-driven audiences. And you'll notice that Google Ads is there on the whole time. Intent-based, search, shopping, display, video, and email. All of those are wildly important. And Google Ads, again, is right there. Retargeting. So again, as we're looking at what's important, Google falls into that. So Facebook, Instagram, display, video, and email. All wildly important features that we need to focus on. Feed the funnel, build the machine. Again, we pour our audiences in. Once they convert, their dollar can turn into $4 easily just by nurturing them. So we can do that again, Google being part of that. So as we talk today, remember, Google is a vital piece of everything that we've talked about already. And hopefully today's overview gives you some launching pad to ask the right questions moving forward. And it gives you, like, there's no better way to learn about Google Ads than go to Google and search for it. And Google Ads is amazing because they also offer free training when you want to get more in depth. But it helps to have this base level knowledge. So Google Ads, what is Google Ads? Google Ads lives in the Google Ads platform, and it hits everyone based on search, display, and we'll really dig down into that a little bit today. Video, can even hit Gmail. So all of these fun things, we can hit people in the Google Ads platform. It's one of the most powerful platforms out there because, again, it's Google and they know everything. You can find out anything that you want on Google, and they know that much about you individually. It's real creepy that they can do this, and I can make a lot of money for clients using this creepy information. So what do you need to get started with Google Ads? This is important because you can't just go create a Google Ads account and expect to be successful right off the bat. It's important that you have your Google Ads account 100%. That is a fun setup process. The first time you do it is always slightly confusing. Google walks you through it. If you ever set up an account for the first time, please contact me. I will walk you through what you need to do because it's not as simple as they make it. There's some things you need to have in operation, and it's just helpful to have someone that's done it before on standby. Google Analytics. Google Analytics is where you're really going to drill down to see the success of your campaign, and you need to make sure your Google Analytics account is tied to your Google Ads account. Again, we talked about Google Analytics last week a bit and its importance in observing your success. Without Google Analytics, you cannot really drill down to what's going on. And then a Google Merchant account. So a merchant account is if you're selling products online. So that's where, consider that the shelf where your products live, and they go there. Then Google Ads is tied to it. So Google Ads can say, okay, there's these products in stock. Let's pull them out and let's put them into a shopping ads campaign, which we'll talk about a bit later. But that merchant account is vital if you're selling physical products directly through Google Ads. If you're just driving people to a website and you want them to convert on the website and you're not running Google shopping ads, don't worry about a merchant account. And for lead generation, merchant account, not necessary. But if you're trying to run Google shopping ads, you have to have it. You cannot run the ads without it. So with Google, you can run campaigns for multiple goals. So let's just spend some time talking about that. When you open up a Google ad campaign, it asks you, what is your goal? And it'll give you these options that you see here: sales, leads, website traffic, product and brand consideration, brand awareness and reach, app promotion, or you can create one with no goals at all, no guidance from Google. A year ago, or maybe like, let's say a year and a half to 2 years ago, really, I would say creating a campaign without a goal was effective. It worked well. However, Google has really stepped up their AI game. The artificial intelligence is really good, and I like to use the goals every chance I get. They are highly effective. So, sales. If your goal is sales, that it means you're trying to drive sales online in an app, by phone, or in store. You can track the conversion. Google Ads makes that easy. And those campaign types that you can run that in are search, display, shopping, video, smart ads, which again, that's highly AI driven and that works well on the shopping side, or discovery. Leads, again, we talked about conversions being the number one thing that Hey Digi focuses on. So sales and leads are the number one and two thing that I care about. So you can get leads and other conversions by encouraging customer to take action. So again, same thing as sales, same exact campaign types. Website traffic. So if you have a new brand and there's not a lot of information out there and we need to drop people into the funnel, website traffic is effective. I'm a fan of it because you're gonna hit them with retargeting, and if they're quality traffic, you're gonna catch them with retargeting. So we're just talking about getting the right people to visit your website. And again, that runs on all the same campaign types, with the exception of smart. A smart campaign, that's Google AI looking for a conversion. So we wanna make sure we clarify that for you. Product and brand consideration. So this is, say you have a running shoe and you want people to consider that running shoe. Now you want to put that ad in front of the right people. So you want them to consider your brand and explore your website, whatever it is. It's not necessarily just website traffic. We're trying to catch them further up in the funnel, which I've already mentioned early on. When I'm talking about building that first initial funnel, these are not ads I focus on. However, I have worked with a client in the past that was brand new to market, and they had a product that no one had anything like it. So product and brand consideration ads were highly effective for them because no one had heard of them. So we had to get that product and brand consideration as well as brand awareness and reach. So when we say brand awareness and reach, just think about like the least effective brand awareness and reach advertising you can do, but there are benefits to it. It's like radio or anything audio. Like if you're running an ad there, you're just trying to get people to hear the brand name. If you're running a TV commercial, you just want people to see the brand. You want that repeated. You want that brand top of mind awareness with the brand. So that's where those ads are highly effective. And then app promotion. So this is if you're marketing an app. So it's same scenario because we're trying to get installs. It's conversion focused, and those are great. And then also the one with no guidelines at all. So just wanted to make sure we mention that again. So when should you use the sales goal? First of all, I say whenever you get started and you build your funnel, you should use 100% of the time. But before then, when you want to drive sales or conversions from customers who are already there to act, like they're high level of intent, you want to focus on them right then. You want to engage with customers who have already contacted you or are very close to making a purchase decision. So retargeting. Sales goals work great in those scenarios. Types of features that start the purchasing or conversion process, such as visually striking ads, automated bidding, and targeting. So Google can do automated bidding. Like if you determine that a certain gender is more likely to convert, you can make sure that there's a higher percentage of your advertising budget allocated for that. Same thing with targeting. You can start to learn that certain things just begin to work better. And Google can do that automatically if you select that feature. And other features that help you reach more people who are actively browsing, researching, or comparing the products and services you sell. So sales goals are further down the funnel. That's the people that are ready to make a purchase. When should you use leads goal? Same scenario. Just they've already expressed an interest. Same thing. So sales and leads function the same way. It's a conversion that leads to an actual purchase. That's really the goal of it. So same thing. We want to look at that the same way as we would a sales goal. So website traffic goal. Drive potential customers to your website. This is that further up the funnel. Excuse me. It's not Corona. I promise. Drive potential customers to visit your website. And that's further up the funnel, and I'm a big fan of it because it reaches a wider net, and then we drop them into that funnel so that we can hit them on retargeting. And we'll know within 7 days if they're going to be active or we can just not worry about them anymore. Features that help researching customers find potential product options, such as automated bidding, targeting, and ad creation, as well as features that can help you build a list of visitors you can later connect with. So again, that retargeting side, that list of visitors. When should I use the product or brand consideration goal? Encourage potential customers to explore what you offer, educate people about what makes your products or services unique. Types of features here. These are features that help you inspire people to choose your brand, such as an automated bidding, targeting, or ad creation, as well as visually appealing ads that help drive engagement. Again, right here, we're just trying to catch someone's attention enough to get them to engage, to maybe they'll click down into the site. Maybe they'll read more. Maybe they'll do something. It's really, we're trying to offer consideration. And then awareness and reach. So this is, think like Coca-Cola, think Pepsi, think big, huge brands to market. Their whole thing now is increase awareness of your products or services. They're not selling direct to consumer. You have to go to the store to buy their product. So they just want everyone to be aware of their product. When you walk into the gas station, they want Coca-Cola to be the first thing you think about. Introduce customers to what you offer when releasing a new product or expanding your business into a new area. So if you're in a new area, again, it's top of mind awareness. You want people to understand what you're doing and where you're at. The features, again, build brand recognition, compelling visual ads, and bid strategies that drive views rather than conversions. It's all about how many people see this ad. And the other features there's other features that help attract new customers and capture their attention. Targeting options. So this whole beast here that we're talking about, we've talked about some of the ideas there, and now let's talk about how we can target down into that. So we have goals, and now how do we target those goals? So we can target demographics. We can target affinity. Are they interested in running? If we want to put a running shoe in front of somebody, are they in market? Have they been shopping, comparing two cars? Now, if they're comparing two cars, they're likely to purchase. So we want to make sure we're showing them an ad for a new automobile. Custom intent. Again, that's a little further down from affinity even. Now we can get a little more specific. Are they researching a 5K? Are they going to be running a 5K soon? Now we want them to see a running shoe because we know there's a custom level of intent there. Similar audiences. This is that data-driven side. So we can take the people that have visited your site or engaged with your site and build an audience that is similar to that. Much like we talked about with Facebook. Remarketing, again, people have been to your site. We want to engage them and keep them at a high level of engagement. So I'll show you some retargeted ads that I have set up currently. Content targeting. So we can run ads based on topics. So if you want to run ads to, say, Budweiser, right? Like they're huge during the Super Bowl. So if we were running Super Bowl ads for Budweiser during that time, we would want Budweiser ads on football pages, like topics of football, because it's all going to correlate. It's going to tie this whole story together. Placement. So we can run ads on specific websites if we want, if they're part of the Google Ad Network. So once you find out if a certain website you like is, or you think your audience is into, is on the Google Ad Network, you can focus ads being on that. Content keywords. So if you wanted to run ads we'll go back to running, then you would want to run ads on sites with content keywords that align with that. So if you have running shoes and you have ads up for that, you would want to put shoes for marathon, like content that has to do with marathons, 5K, 10K, any of that type of thing. You'd want those content keywords being targeted. So display expansion for search. So when you set up a search campaign, you can also add display as well. And I'll show some examples of that here in just a minute. But that just is an expansion. So if someone's searching for, they're searching for, we'll keep using running shoes over and over again. They're searching for running shoes, and they're looking for a specific running shoe. Now we can make sure that there's also display ads that show for that. And it's not just a shopping or a search ad that appear for that. So here's some search ads, some examples of search ads. This is they're a real estate investor. They do private lending, so hard money lender. If someone's trying to get into a house and flip it, these ads have been highly effective because you don't have to have a lot of conversions in a month because there's a lot of margin in this type of investing. So that's a search ad. This is spinal decompression search ad. Just real clear call to action. Leather jackets. Like if you search leather jackets, this would maybe show up. And it does typically. But plant-based nutrition, fitness nutrition. So if you were to search for hard money lender, that top one would come up in Nashville in particular because that's where it's located. Spinal decompression. That's another one for Nashville would show up because these are highly targeted geographically, not just for the key phrases that we're looking for. Motorcycle parts and apparel. That one, I believe that one showed up specifically under leather jackets, and you can see that there's that's tied in there, right? Like, and the brand Roland Sands is known for really high quality leather jackets. Plant-based fitness and nutrition. That I believe showed up for vegan protein. So that was an option there. So these two, the motorcycle parts and plant-based nutrition, those guys are focused nationwide. The other two are focused locally. So you can focus on your area that you want to hit. And I suggest if you're a national brand, focus nationally. If you're a local business, then focus locally. There's no sense in spending money in Sacramento if you are a Nashville-based business. And that is a common mistake when someone sets up their own ad campaign. They don't really focus on what that looks like. And they'll spend money that is totally pointless. So these are some examples of display ads. And these ads, again, can be run based on intent, based on affinity audiences, keywords. So if someone were to look up motorcycles, RSD motorcycle parts could show up on anything they're looking for. But really, I focus highly on retargeting, which we've talked about, to make sure that funnel is focused primarily on quality traffic. So these ads would most of these would appear if you've been to the website, and most likely if you've looked at one of these products. So STKR Concepts, that's a client of mine. They do really cool lighting, and so the tri-light's cool for garage lighting, and then you've got a parking sensor that tells you when you're too close to the wall, and a really cool camping headlamp that we used actually this weekend camping with our kids. But if you visit the site, you're probably going to get hit with one of those ads for that product. Bridge South Investments was one that was an extension on a search ad. So that was a search ad set up with display extension. So that was the way we just talked about in the previous slide, was an option. And again, the Lock and Load Pro from Risk Racing, same thing. That was retargeted ad. Someone's been to the site, their high level of likelihood of re-engaging, and those ads function really well. I highly suggest everyone that has products has those. And if you don't have products, at least make sure your brand is still showing up. These are examples of video ads I've done in the past. So these would show up on YouTube, and they would be based on custom affinity audiences in market, because motorcycle in market's a really easy one to target, or retargeted. So anyone that's been to the site, when they're on YouTube, will be presented with one of these ads. And this is a shopping ad. So when you type in, I literally typed in mechanical carpenter pencil because I know STKR Concepts has those, and there's not a ton of competition for that. And I knew it would be the first one to show up. So I was like, we'll use that one. So this converts really well. It's one of the highest converting ads that I have running for them. It's a low margin product, so I don't really, most of the time, like I would focus on a higher margin, but this is dropping people into the funnel, getting that brand awareness, and not losing money in the process. So as you can see, this is at the top of Google. It's above the search results, and it gives you a real clear, you can click on that ad and it takes you directly to purchase the product. And then these are what a Gmail ad looks like. If you use Gmail or the Gmail app on your phone, you'll see at the top, there'll be a little tag that says ad. And if you open that, it's an obvious advertisement, and it gives you a clear call to action, and you can click through. I don't use a ton of these. I've experimented with them in the past, but I think they're really good for brand awareness. They function well in that aspect. But as far as conversions go, I've never seen them work well. So I don't really use them much. I just wanted to make sure I had some kind of example for you. Whoops, let's go back. So um, that's like the most brief overview that I can offer for what Google Ads looks like. And then the next level of dive into that is setting up an actual ad. So just a real quick review on most of that. You set up a Google ad by having first a Google Ads account. Make sure it's tied to your Google Analytics account. And if you're selling a product, make sure you have a Google Merchant account with all of your inventory attached to it. And if you have a traditional e-commerce platform or one of the newer e-commerce platforms, that's very simple. Shopify makes life really easy for that. You can just plug and play. And when you get in there, you can start, first you select your goal. And when you select your goal, you want to understand why you're selecting that goal. If you just need to get people to your website to get them in the funnel, make sure you're just getting web traffic. But if you already have a funnel or you have a product with a high level of intent to buy at all times, make sure you have sales or leads, even if that's your goal. And from there, you want to make sure that you're nurturing them with retargeted campaigns. The same thing that we've talked about the whole time.
We discussed it. We're just going to run through a simple Google search campaign. This is a client that I already have. I'm not running ads right now, so it's fine for me to set one up. I'll just turn it off when we're done. And just so you have an idea, this client is a hard money lender in Nashville. So they do investment property, they do lending on all of anything with rehab and reconstruction loans, all of that stuff. So new campaign. So we have these options that we talked about in the presentation, but we're just going to focus on website traffic. We're going to drop them in the top of the funnel and search. Remember that level of intent. And actually, this client in particular, they they have a high level of intent. Anybody searching for them is definitely looking for what they offer. So Bridge South Investments, continue. So it's pretty, we'll drill down in that in a little bit. So your naming convention, whatever you want it to be, come up with something that works for you. I'm just calling this HD test 2 for the sake of this. We're not going to include the search network or display network. And you can always just click on, like, hover above these little question marks and they'll give you an idea of what those things are, but we're not worried about those right now. And we're not focused on the entire United States. We're going to focus just on Nashville for this one. Okay. Um, so the city or the DMA, we're just going to focus on the city. So it's 4 million, 4.5 million people. Languages, English is already selected. Audiences, we're not worried about that for a search ad. We'll talk about that for display when I run through that next. Budget, this is going to be your daily budget. So just whatever number you're comfortable with. I suggest starting low and testing and seeing what's going on. If you have a large budget, obviously, the more that you can spend in a day, the more data you will receive. So I'm not against that as long as you have you're not just firing blind. Then you can really blow through your budget quickly, and it's not fair to you, and it's not a wise way to spend your money. We're set up for conversions now, so we could go to clicks, whatever. I'm gonna leave it on conversions for the sake of this ad. Site site link extensions. These are links within the ad that can drive people further into the page and something that they may be interested in. So they have a conference room you can rent. Um, so contact page would make sense. Services, things that they offer, and testimonials. Those all make sense to me to have on the ad. Call out extensions. These are what they offer. Let's click all those because now these aren't going to be extensions to drive them further into the site. They're just going to be extensions within the ad that show the offerings that this business has. And you have to set all these up. So if you don't have them set up, you won't have that option. Call extensions. This gives them an opportunity to call directly from the ad. Just click to call. You don't have to go into the ad or to the site. So if we're trying to drive a lead, that's extremely valuable. So now here we go. We're on ad group. So we're going to call ad group 1. We'll leave it at that. So Bridge South Investments, the website's up there. So look, you'll notice Google auto-populated this with a ton of just cool keywords that make sense for what they're doing. I'm not going to go through this, but I would highly suggest whenever you're actually setting up an ad, go through there. And if it doesn't give you anything, now this is where you get to have some fun and play with data or play with chances with the data and see what's going to happen. But you could add anything you want in here. You could just say unicorns. So, unicorns. Whatever. I wouldn't bid on unicorns for property investment, but you could. Just saying, you can add that, and then you'll notice down here there's different match types, right? So these are all broad match. You'll notice there's no quotation or brackets around this. which means anything close to unicorns is going to show up. If someone typed in gerbil corn, there's a funny video my kids watch called gerbil corn, whatever. Um, type that in, unicorns may show up. Now, if we want to get to a phrase match, we would throw quotation marks around it. Now, if anyone types in, where are the best unicorns in Nashville, this would probably show up. Um, again, this is with the ideal scenario. The ad drives people to an accurate landing page. This is not going to be an accurate landing page. I'm just giving an extreme example. Now, if we want exact unicorns, whoops, we're going to put the brackets around it. Okay. Now, someone has to type in unicorns or a very small variation like unicorn. They could type that in, and now that exact match is locked in. So now that would show up. So we're going to save and continue. Oh, and a quick, what I like to do when I'm starting, especially testing, is I go broad match on everything. And as you dive into Google Analytics, you can, and you have it tied to your ads account, you can really look and see how those words are performing, and you can start to drill into more exact matching and phrase match. Just a little tip there. Bridge South Investments, it's going to tell me we got to add the HTTPS to the beginning of it. You don't have to add it, but I mean, Google suggests it, so you do. Hard money. Let's call that one. Whoops. Call that one headline. Lender. Obviously, I would go something much longer than that because you have real estate. Use up as much real estate as you can because that takes up space from competitors. So, as the more real estate you have, the better off you are. Don't just use words to use words, but be wise with what you're choosing. And then unicorn, right? We want to make sure our headlines and our descriptions speak to what our keywords are. So back on the keywords and the ad groups, you could separate, you could create multiple ad groups. So you could create multiple ads for each ad group. So if you want to do hard money and just have different variations of hard money lender or hard money, your ad could speak to that. And then you could have one for construction loans and your ad could speak to that. So just a suggestion that you want to make sure your headlines and your descriptions speak to the ad and the landing page themselves. Description: unicorns are cool and hard money makes more money. So I'm typing slow. I'm leaned over to the mic, so it's an awkward setting, and I'm just making sure I'm typing things right. So in here you could add a URL path like unicorns. It doesn't actually take people. Oh, come on. It doesn't actually take people to that that URL. It's just added to it. So look now, unicorns. So the URL looks as though it's going to take someone straight to there. So that's it. That's all you do. You could add URL tracking options. We're not going to worry about that here, but I think that's. Well, I know that's the easiest way to set up an ad for you. And you could save and continue. You could done and create a new ad, so you could add multiple ads, and Google will optimize and serve up the best ad. But we're just going to say save and continue. And here you see, this is kind of your overview. This is what goes on. All right, let's set up a display ad. Okay, so we're going to go through the same actions. Boom, new campaign. And what we're going to do is, again, website traffic. Just keep it simple. If you have everything set up, you go leads, conversions, whatever. We're just going to do a display ad. Continue. YouTube, Gmail, Discover. It's all right there. Website discovery. We're going to call it HD display test. This will get us started. Again, we don't care about all of the United States. That'd be wasted money. We're going Nashville. There we go. English. Target cost per acquisition. We're just gonna see a typical CPA for a discovery campaign is 1077. So, for the sake of this, we're gonna put in that exact amount just for the sake of it. Again, you watch your data and you learn what's best for you. Okay. Do not trust what Google tells you every time. So ad group. So here we go. We've got your ad group. Keep it called ad group 1 for the sake of this. Audiences. We're going to go with browse. We're doing display, right? So how they interacted with your business, website visits, all visitors. If they've converted, we're not so necessary. Like we're not so worried about them. And look, we can expand reach by 100%. Where'd that go? We're gonna turn that off. But that does that's like look like audiences we talked about. Google will find people that match that. Expanding your reach can increase impressions, clicks, whatever. Okay, so we're not too concerned with that with this one. We're trying to hit people that have actually landed on the site. Demographics, we could drill down here if we wanted to, but they've already landed on the site, so they've shown the level of intent. I might suggest taking that out. They're not going to be a hard money lender. But even like we can do household income, parental status, age, and gender. All of those things are possible. Now we're going to create an ad. Let's just do a discovery ad, just super simple discovery ad. And I don't know if I have creative available, but we're just going to go with something simple, you know. Oh, oh, with HTTP. Okay. So this is where you would upload images and logos. I don't think I have anything. It'll scan the site. So yeah, look, we got a logo. We're just going to use it. So you have to have a 1.91 to 1 ratio and then a 1-to-1 ratio. For the sake of this video, like the 1-to-1 does not work really, but we're going to use it. Okay, and that's the logo. So look, go back. We just need a 1-to-1 logo. I'm sorry. So we're going to select it for the sake of this, and then the image, look, 1-to-1. You can move it around to make it fit however you need to. But for this, again, the sake of this, we're just going to select those two ratios. Now we've got an image and we've got a logo. We're good. Um, hard money. Now it'll let you add up to 5 headlines. I'm not worried about that at this moment, but I do suggest it. The more headlines you offer, the more Google has to choose to rotate and pick the best ones. Um, Again, description. We're gonna go back to unicorns are cool. Um, Same thing here. You can add up to 5. I suggest it. Bridge South Investments. So see, same kind of setup here, but look here. Here's what we can do. We can see what it looks like in different ads or different previews. So let's look at it in YouTube. So that's what it looked like on YouTube. It'd be a display ad that pop up. That's what it looked like in Gmail. We talked about Gmail ads. Now this is cool because it's a retargeted ad to someone's Gmail account. Discover. This will be a display ad that shows up on a partner site. So, oh, and then we can also, sorry, you can look at the desktop version, all properties. That's what it looks like everywhere. So, it'll appear on computers via Gmail. So only on computers, it only shows up on Gmail. This is what it looks like in Gmail. Okay. So that's the basics of setting up a display ad with a retargeted display ad. And we would hit create campaign. For the sake of this, I'm going to hit cancel. But you get the idea. That's a simple search ad and a simple display ad. And display for retargeting. So we hit the high level of intent and drop them in the funnel with search. And we hit them again with display on retargeting, just staying in front of them and trying to capture them finally.